and welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly. Hello, welcome to Logan Sounds Off. Today we're doing a book review on Resistance by Brian Gallagher, Aesop's Fables by Aesop, and The Easter Rising 1916 Molly's Diary by Patricia Murphy. The first book we're going to talk about is called Resistance by Brian Gallagher. This book was released in 2018. It's about if the Nazis occupied Ireland, what would have happened. It's very realistic, but it's very tricky for a person who can only see the world in black and white, as they say. I definitely enjoyed this book. Brian Gallagher has released some amount of books. He's wrote Spies, which was best-selling. He also wrote Across the Divide, Arrivals, Pawns, and loads of other books. He usually talked about the Civil War and World War II, so when I heard that he was doing a fictional novel, I kind of struggled to see what it would be like. So this book, anyways, was a really good book because it had multiple characters in the mix. It also kind of went between the two characters, the couple of characters like Roisin Tierney is a Jew, which was terrible because the Nazis were in Ireland at that moment, so Roisin was on the run, and her friends, Kevin and Mary, they had their own problems, and they were swapping between them, and then there was also another person, Dennis, who was spying on them at the same time, so there was a lot of different problems going around. It's a very heavy, very intense book. It gets very dark at the end, in a particular chapter with Kevin and Dennis, with one raising a gun. But anyways, brilliant book. I'm definitely going to rate this a 5 stars. The images on the front are amazing. I really like the images. I like the inside as well. I think it's very readable. The font and things. This definitely was one of my favourite books. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you do too if you go over to a bookshop and buy this book, because it's amazing. Get it out of your local library, whatever, but read this book. It's amazing. The next book we're going to talk about is Aesop's Fables. The particular one that I have is an edition with an introduction by Marcus Sedgwick. The release date of this particular edition that I have is 2013. This book is a very tricky book, definitely 10, 11 plus. It's in Old English, so there's a lot of words like thou and thy that kind of are tricky to understand. But honestly, this has taught me so many lessons, like a bad workman. A sheep was shorn clumsily. If it's my wool you want, it said, don't cut so close. If it's my flesh you're after, kill me outright. Don't torture me to death by inches. All those different stories are amazing. Aesop was thrown off a cliff around 2000, maybe 3000. I haven't done any history on Aesop yet, but 2,000, 3,000 years ago, I think, he was killed. Unlawfully, by the way. He was very, very, very good author, in my opinion. There were some really, really famous ones that are in this book, like Sour Grapes and Dog in the Manger. Many people don't know some of Aesop's sayings. Many people do know them, but they don't know that it's actually Aesop who wrote them. They just think it's one of those posters at the back of the school wall with motivational words on it. This book I definitely rate a 4 stars, simply because I didn't do the extra star because some of them were a bit just boring. Some of them like The Odd Couple. But overall, I love this book. I really liked it. You can buy so many different editions of this book. The one that I recommend is the Puffin Classics version because it comes with an introduction by Marcus Sedgwick, and it's just a really nice copy to have. It's got beautiful artwork on it. It has a tortoise actually on the artwork beating a hare, if anyone's ever heard of the tortoise and the hare story. The next book I'm going to talk about is called The Easter Rising 1916 Molly's Diary by Patricia Murphy. This book was released in 2014. This book was an amazing book, but there was one large problem. It was extremely dark. There was a lot of murder in this book because it was imagining like you were right in the middle of the Easter Rising. The Easter Rising was only 5 days. One day is about 60 pages, I think, in this book. It's like mini Ulysses. It's really fun to read. It wasn't my favorite book, but it was definitely very good. So I'm going to rate it 5 stars because, wow, it's just exemplary. Very good. There were some parts in it like that were a bit that you wouldn't want some people to read. So I kind of think this should be a 9+ kind of book. There's a lot of bloodshed in the book as well. So, anyways, honestly, it definitely describes what it was like in the Easter Rising. I could feel, I could look, and I could imagine what it might have been like, and I imagined it. I could immediately see what was happening during the 1916 Rising. That shows a good author. Brilliant authors can do that. Only brilliant authors can. You'll only get a couple of books in your life that are like that, where you can actually see. So I definitely think this is a brilliant book. 5 stars all the way. It is a bit dark, but if you're 9+ or over, you can handle it. It's normal. All it is a couple of murders, bloodshed. But overall, it's a brilliant book. As I said, 5 stars. So that's the end of today's book review. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next Logan Sounds Off episode. Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye guys!